Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm coming at you not from my studio, but from this beautiful hotel room here in New York City. And the reason why we're doing this video is because every time I travel, I bring so much tech with me, obviously also being a tech reviewer, but also because this is a bit of a longer trip and I do plan to shoot some video and maybe do some editing. So I do have a bunch of stuff with me. And if you're anything like me, and you probably are because you clicked on this video, you like to snoop in other people's bags to see what tech they carry around. Because I'm carrying so much with me for this trip, I thought we would chop it up into 3 pieces. One will be my sling bag, which is basically my EDC while I'm away on this trip. The second one is my big bag, which carries all my stuff like my laptop and the bigger tech. And then of course there's the Peak Design tech pouch, which is my absolute favorite because that thing holds all of my little travel knickknacks, and I'm sure there's going to be some interesting stuff in there you may have not seen before, and there's definitely going to be some great tips for your upcoming travel as well. Let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants.
So starting off with the sling bag, this is actually a new one in the collection. This is the Harbour London Body Sling, I think it's called, but I'll put a link in the description so you can see exactly what model this is. This thing is really good because not only does it look nice, I mean, it's this full grain brown Italian leather. I really love the way this looks. I also appreciate that it looks a bit more rugged because let's be honest, we are carrying a bit of a merce, but because it has some features like this big rugged clasp, it makes me feel a bit more manly, if you will. So inside is basically all the stuff I carry on a daily basis. Obviously, there's my iPhone 16 Pro Max, which would usually be in here because, as a lot of you probably know, I am also carrying the Samsung Fold 7 with me on a daily basis. And honestly, I'm enjoying this phone way more than I am my 16 Pro Max. I mean, this thing is newer, it's fresher, it has way more features, but there's a reason why I'm still carrying my iPhone as well. I'm actually doing a separate video on that, so definitely stay tuned for that if you are interested. But yeah, I'm carrying both of these phones in my EDC, also because I'm a tech reviewer and I do need access to both iOS and Android. So I guess, you know, we're living the two phone life here. Next up are these Ray-Ban Metas, and I cannot tell you how clutch these are. You probably know these by now. You put them on your face and you're basically carrying a camera. This is so handy when you're doing stuff and you have your hands full, but you still need some footage. But yeah, these are really cool. What makes these specifically very useful is that they're actually transition lenses, so I can wear them inside and outside. Of course, I could wear my tinted Ray-Bans inside, but you don't want to be that guy, right? So these are clear inside and they turn into sunglasses outside, which is just super clutch. So these pretty much go with me wherever I go. Now, these trips mean very long days, especially the days that I'm coming from Belgium to New York, because we're actually getting 6 hours. That does mean that it is very challenging to get through the day on one battery charge, even for a 16 Pro Max, which does have a good battery. And for that, we have a very good solution, which is this little guy right here. Now, while the battery on the iPhone 16 Pro Max is pretty solid, on long days with a lot of usage, traveling from Belgium to the US being a perfect example, even the iPhone battery needs a little help. The Minimag by Torras has been absolutely amazing, and it has become my favorite iPhone power bank for a couple of reasons. First of all, the size. I mean, look at how smooth and how slim this is, especially when compared to Apple's own MagSafe charger, which is a lot bigger and a lot clunkier. This thing is insanely flat. It's got an aluminum alloy back, so it's great at heat dissipation, and it's generally very safe as well. And even though it has a very small footprint, it still packs a whopping 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is kind of nuts. It supports wireless charging at 7.5 watts, but the USB-C port on this thing isn't just there to charge the battery, it actually supports 18 watts charging going out as well. So I can charge all kinds of other devices with this thing as well, like my AirPods for instance. You can charge this thing back up using pretty much any USB-C chargers, but Torras actually makes a super convenient travel option as well. This thing is called the Torras Flexline charger, and it's pretty much the perfect little travel charger. It has a built-in 1 meter retractable cable, which Torras claims is designed to last more than 10 years. I guess we'll have to take their word for it, but what I really like about this thing is the way the cable snaps back into place when you let go of it. It's got this magnetic self-locking mechanism, so it always snaps right back into place. It's so satisfying. I actually need to stop myself from using this thing as a fidget toy. I don't even have to worry about bringing cables with me because there's one right inside of this thing, and it's actually so small that I could put it in my EDC. All I would need then is a socket in a coffee shop or something, and I'm good to go. It's a GAN charger, so it's super small, but it still packs a 67 watt punch, and it does not get hot because of the dual custom cooling chips. And between these foldable prongs and the retractable cable, I mean, it doesn't get any more compact than this. And just like the Minimag, it has an additional USB-C port, so you can fast charge two devices at the same time, fast enough to power an iPhone all the way up to 65% in like half an hour. Definitely a solid charging pair. And guys, if you see the light shifting in here, please forgive me. This is very much a makeshift studio. There's daylight over there. The sun is coming in and out. It's a mess, but you know, let's just enjoy the video. Now for the wallet, I would typically carry this Goyard wallet in my EDC that I picked up during another NYC trip earlier this year. But whenever I just want to head out without packing a full wallet, or I don't plan on bringing a bag or something like that, my go-to is actually this geomagnetic wallet stand from ESR. It is the first MagSafe wallet stand designed with full certified Apple Find My functionality, which means it makes use of the same amazing network Apple's AirTags use, including real-time location tracking. You can also make it play a sound when you're trying to find it, and it has my favorite feature, the left behind notification, so I don't have to worry about leaving my wallet on some restaurant table again. Also, a very important feature is RFID blocking. You really don't want anyone to be scanning your cards on a subway. The magnet to latch it onto your iPhone is also 4 times stronger than Apple's own one, and the finger loop on this thing is so convenient, especially for larger phones like the iPhone 16 Pro Max. It also doubles as a stand, which is great for watching content or making video calls. You can put it in portrait mode or in landscape mode, and because this wallet can comfortably hold 3 cards, it is the ideal wallet for the summer. If you don't feel like carrying a lot of extra bulk, perfect for going out, maybe a credit card, your ID, and a hotel key card or whatever. Super convenient little product. Travels with me everywhere, and for around 35 bucks on Amazon, this seems to be a pretty sweet deal to me. I will put links to everything, of course, in the description below the video. And of course, we have a couple of microfibers because everybody needs a microfiber. All right, so let's move on from this EDC sling, if you will, to the big boy duffel, because that's where I keep the majority of my tech that I don't carry with me wherever I go, but that I very much need on trips like this. So for this trip, I am using my favorite duffel bag. This particular duffel is by Louis Vuitton. I love this thing. I bought it a couple of years ago and it's holding up really, really well. Of course, it doesn't have to be an LV one, but I would definitely recommend carrying a duffel if you have to pick between like one of those trolley carry-on things and a duffel, because you can stuff way more in one of these than you can in a sort of confined little carry-on. And I don't know if you guys can hear this. They are drilling next door, so you know, Murphy's Law. We've got the sunlight making our life difficult. We have the noise next door, but we're just gonna carry on. I'm just gonna put this down for a second. So inside this thing, we have, of course, my MacBook Pro, and this thing is my workhorse. This is my never fails, you know, I can just depend on it computer. Some of you might probably know that I actually prefer using my MacBook Air where I can. And I do take the MacBook Air on most trips. I just made a video about it recently because it can legit handle most of my stuff. But when I have a trip where I know I have to edit a bunch of video and, you know, it's some sponsored content, it has some deadlines and stuff, and I have to be 100% sure that nothing goes wrong, this is the one I still need to take, because eventually the Air will chug, especially when I have a lot of editing to do with a bunch of camera angles like these, or, you know, a lot of color grading, a lot of plugins. This thing will not struggle. This is the M3 Max MacBook Pro. So yeah, this is my workhorse. This is the best computer I own. Then next to it, I will carry my iPad Pro, and usually I don't carry this thing anymore because I'm a little over iPads. I don't know what happened there, but they just become a little bit boring to me. And especially now that I have the Samsung Fold 7 with me everywhere I go, I basically have a small iPad already. So I don't really have a use for this anymore. But I'm used to working on 2 monitors in a studio, so here on the trip I'll have my little 14-inch MacBook Pro, which isn't a whole lot of screen real estate, so having a second display, which you can connect with a Thunderbolt cable to the MacBook Pro, having a seamless experience, no lag whatsoever, really, really helps. I can put all of my video files on here and then have my timeline here, so I can actually edit back and forth and just focus on what things look like over here and have all my stuff on this thing. Makes it so much easier than having having everything crammed in one screen. And that alone makes it worth it taking the iPad Pro with me. But when I have it with me anyway, you know, I might as well enjoy this beautiful screen. And it really does have one of Apple's, maybe the most beautiful screen for watching content in the bed, or maybe using it on the airplane to watch some movies. It is a beautiful iPad. And you know, since I have it with me anyway, I can also take my handwritten notes on this thing. And that really is an added benefit for me, because when it comes to things like journaling, I still really prefer doing it with a pen. So having that Apple Pencil really makes things a lot more interesting for me. And of course, you already know I slap a Paperlike screen protector on every iPad I buy. And thank you very much to Paperlike for sponsoring this video. I've been using Paperlike for as long as I've been using iPads. In fact, the very first video on my channel was an instructional video on how to apply a Paperlike screen protector, because it has been and still is my single most favorite accessory for the iPad. I don't really use any iPads without a Paperlike. I love using the Apple Pencil to take handwritten notes, like I said, but I hate the slippery feeling that you get if you write on the naked screen. Paperlike uses their own nano dot technology to add resistance and texture to the screen, so it actually feels like you're writing on paper, and it really does feel like that. It's like the little microbeads provide the pencil with haptic feedback, which gives you that paper-like experience. But for me, the added benefit of having a matte screen protector, meaning no grimy fingerprints and way less glare, are maybe even more important than the actual handwriting aspect. Especially during the summer, the iPad has an amazing display, but it does produce a lot of glare. It's very glossy. With a Paperlike on there, it is so much easier to use it outside in the sunlight. And if my Paperlike screen protector starts looking a little rough over time, I can always just tear it off and apply a fresh one, because every order comes with 2 screen protectors, so you're good to go for a very long time. So yeah, for me, Paperlike is still the way to go, and if you want to try it out for yourself, there's a link in the description below the video. Now, this next one I'm actually pretty excited about, because I was going to show you guys the Sony a7C Mark II that I recently picked up. It's actually over there, so I won't be showing you it. I'm using it for B-roll. It's a fantastic camera, but I'll get to that another time, because during this trip, I actually picked up this Lumix S9. And the reason why I picked this up is because there was a really good deal here at B&H Photo in New York, and this thing can actually shoot open gate. I know we're getting into really nerdy territory right now, but for my fellow camera geeks out there, it means that you're basically shooting 1:1, which means you have a massive frame, and then later you can decide whether you want to do a 9:16 or 16:9, meaning portrait mode or landscape mode. And that means I can decide later if I want to use the footage in my YouTube video or in an Instagram reel, for instance. Normally you would have to choose in advance, or you would have to shoot for a YouTube video and then try and crop in for the reel, but it never really comes out nicely. This way you can actually shoot the full frame and then later on decide what portion of the screen you want to use. Super cool. I don't have a lot of experience with it yet, but this is going to be the ideal way for me to learn it, because I'm pretty sure this is the cheapest camera you can get offering that particular functionality. Super excited about this one. Also in my bag, and this is a Sony product, is my Sony XM6s. These are so good. I did a full-blown video about it. If you're interested, I'll put a link somewhere up here or maybe at the end of the video. These are currently my absolute favorite over-the-ear headphones, and I didn't think I would say that, because I'm a huge fan of the AirPods Maxes. The way the AirPods sound, I really love them. Also, the transparency mode, it's still unparalleled, but the noise canceling on these is absolutely fantastic. And they're also a little bit more comfortable than the AirPods Maxes. I know that's subjective, but for me, that's definitely the case. I can wear these for hours and it's fine. When I wear my AirPods Maxes, after a while, it starts hurting my head and even on my ears a little bit. So these are just absolutely great. And like I said, the ANC is just so good. You can flush out everything. Being on a noisy plane especially is not a fun experience, but with these things on, it's quiet. It's so good. I can definitely recommend these. But like I said, if you want to know more about them, check out my full video review. Also in here is my Ugreen power bank. You know, I use a lot of Ugreen stuff, and if you're regular to the channel, you already know this. I do Ugreen stuff all the time because it's actually good stuff. But this one has become my new favorite because it's a very beefy power bank. It's 165 watts, 20,000 milliamp hour battery bank, which is no slouch, but it also has a built-in retractable cable cable, which makes this thing so useful to me. I mean, I will obviously always carry some cables with me, but this way I don't have to look for them. There's just always one there. And you can also use this cable to charge the actual power bank back up. So even if you have 0 cables with you and just this thing, you're going to be fine, which is what I love. And then there's these little extras about this thing as well, like having a little color display, which shows you exactly how much battery is left, not just some indicator lights, but actually how much the percentage is. You'll see things like how much juice is coming in or going out. It's just a really good battery bank. So like most Ugreen products, I definitely recommend this one, but this is my personal favorite right now. Next up is a OG tech accessory for me as well. You've probably seen this more than once on the channel, and that's just because it's so good. This is the DJI Pocket 3, which is a little gimbal camera, if you will. If I had to explain this in a sentence, it's basically a drone gimbal camera on a stick. So that means that you can hold this whatever way you want. You can move it up and down, and the image is going to be so stable. It's almost impossible to mess it up. And what makes this very useful as well is that I can hand it to anyone. I can hand it to Patty, my fiance. She can film a little bit for me. You know, that's not the case with an actual camera. You have to know what you're doing. You have to, you know, change a few parameters. But in this case, it's actually so simple. You just point and shoot. And like I said, you can't mess it up because it's always stable. And if you're a solo shooter like me and you don't have anyone around filming you, you can just switch it around like this. So it's filming me, double tap on my face, and then it goes into follow mode, just like the drones. If you've ever flown a drone, you already know this functionality. So I can move and the thing will just follow me, which is so useful. So if you are looking for a vlogging camera or your first camera or whatever reason you need a camera, look into this one because it's not expensive, especially for the video quality and all the functionality, and it's just so easy to use. So yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces of tech of last year, but also for this year. And then it comes with these little extras like magnetic mounts, which means you can just stick them to like a traffic light or whatever, and then have it follow you that way. Endless possibilities. A couple more things in here. We have, of course, our new favorite travel companion, the Nintendo Switch 2. This thing has really grown on me because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm not a huge Nintendo fan. I like my Steam Deck because I'm into more like PC style games if I'm gaming at all. You know, for a long time I didn't game because I didn't have the time anymore, etc. A Steam Deck had really got me back into gaming again because it's so easy to just, you know, whip it out for half an hour, do a little bit of gaming, put it away again, and then pick up where you left off. Like I said, not a huge Nintendo fan, but the Nintendo Switch 2 did seem attractive to me because it was new and I obviously wanted to review it as a tech reviewer, but I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it or maybe send it back or, you know, give it away or whatever. But this thing is actually so much fun. I didn't expect it to be. I downloaded some games and currently I'm playing the new Donkey Kong game. I did not expect it to be this much fun. It's so addictive. I actually have to make myself put it away. I don't have a whole lot of time to play these things, but being on an airplane for 7-8 hours is the perfect excuse to sink some time into some games. So yeah, this thing is definitely coming with me when I travel. And then lastly is my trusty old Apple Watch. You guys probably know that I'm pretty much into mechanical watches these days. I was bitten by the bug. I'm a bit of a collector, but I do always carry my Apple Watch Ultra with me, even though I don't wear it on a daily basis. Whenever I go to the gym, which is almost on a daily basis here in New York, you know, gotta counteract all that eating that we're doing here to, you know, do some damage control. I do want to keep track of, you know, my workouts, how many steps I get in and stuff like that. So this will always be in my travel kit and I will wear it, but I'm wearing it in a very functional way right now on a need to wear basis rather than having it just on me all day, every day. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon because I really enjoy my mechanical watches much more. So I just want to wear those as much as I can. But yeah, whenever I go for a workout or I need some information about the activities I'm doing, this thing is going on my wrist and it's still fantastic. I've had this for quite a bit now, and what's really good about this one is that the battery life is still absolutely amazing. It didn't deteriorate one bit. On the Apple Watch Ultra 1, it did. After maybe 6 months to a year, it started, you know, performing a little bit worse. But on the 2, it hasn't. It's really still going strong. I can get easily 2 to 3 days out of it. So definitely still a great watch. And that is mostly it for my big duffel bag. We've got the big tech items covered. that leaves me with what is actually, if I'm being super honest with you guys, my favorite part, which is the Peak Design Tech Pouch is what it's called, I believe. I've had this in black, I've had it in green, now I have it in sage. I just keep getting back to this thing. You know, being a tech reviewer, I have to try a lot of these things and see which one is best. And I do like several, you know, little bags or accessories, pouches, or whatever you want to call them. But this one is just the king of all of them. It just is, you know, I don't know what to tell you. The reason being that this pouch is super, super durable, as is most of the Peak Design stuff. You can spill a glass of water on it, it's totally fine. You can see even the zippers are waterproof. Very, very cool. It looks great, but most of all, you've got this really innovative system that is now copied by a lot of other brands, but Peak Design came up with it. It is this origami style design, which means you can fold it open and then get in one glance, you get a really good look at everything that's in your pouch. You don't have to dig around. You can just see exactly what's in there, which is super useful. And also it kind of stays open when you set it down like this, so it becomes a little bit of a desk caddy, if you will. And inside we have a bunch of neat little items, and I'm sure you get a kick out of some of those. We already talked about the Torras Flexline charger. It usually sits in here, but I wanted to mention it in conjunction with that little battery pack. Next up in here is something that I recently picked up, and it's been out for a while. It's just new to me, which is the 12 South Butterfly. It's this really solid aluminum. I think you can hear how solid it is. Aluminum dual charger is what it is. So you have this little puck, you can hang it off a keychain or whatever. I just keep it in this thing. And it has one USB-C or Thunderbolt cable or whatever you want to use for it, port up here that can power it. And then it changes into a fast charging dual charger. So on this side, you'll have a Qi charging puck. So you can use any phone like my iPhone or the Fold 7. I can put it on there as well, and it will charge it as fast as the phone allows. And here we have a Apple Watch charger, which is amazing because I always forget the Apple Watch charger because I'm using my mechanical watches so much. It's not in my system anymore to bring that charger with me. So this way I always have it with me, which is a really, really good solution. Charges both devices at once at a fast charge, and then when you're done with it, you just put it back in your thing and you don't even know it's there. It's fantastic. This is also a new find, and again, I'm sure it's been out for a while, but they're very new to me, and that is these rolling square all-in-one cables. They're basically all the same cable, it's just different lengths. So let's start with this one here. This is a magnetic cable, so these actually stick together, which is very nice if you want to tuck them away nicely. And then you have basically all of the extensions you need. You have a USB-A. Underneath, there is a USB-C. Here we have a lightning cable if you still need that. And then underneath there is also a USB-C. So you can have USB-C to C, USB-C to A, USB-C to lightning, and USB-A to lightning. So every single possible combination that you might need in your tech setup, you have it here in one single cable, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's not some flimsy cable or a low speed cable. These are really good. Fast charging, very high quality. It's all braided. They're flat so they don't tangle. Same for this one. This is a super long one, so I'll use it next to my bed or whatever, so I can keep using my phones and my MacBook while they're charging. And the same thing for this one as well. It's got those four, different charging systems, if you will. But the difference between this little guy and these two is that this is actually a very high-speed data cable. So if I want to use something like an SD card or an SSD drive rather, and I want to do a super fast transfer from that card to my computer, or maybe from my camera to my computer, this is the one I'll use. Super fast, it's crazy fast, and like I said, it's magnetic. You can put the cap on and it turns into this, and what this means is that you can actually turn this into a keychain and have a fast charging data cable / charging cable with you at all times with every single extension you can think of. So these have been an absolute cheat code. Essentially, I wouldn't have to bring all of these. I could just get away with these two, for instance. But since we're here, we have a lot of stuff with us, and Patty's here with me. I just take these three, but these are literally all the cables I need, and they can charge everything. And then talking about SSD storage, we have this little thing here. This is the Acasis, not sure what it's called, but it's an 80 gigabit per second SSD drive. And what makes this thing special is a couple of things. First of all, this is aluminum, so it's really good at heat dissipation. Doesn't run that hot, but when it does, it has a little button here which turns on a fan, which sits in here, keeps everything even cooler, so you never have to worry about your speeds throttling. And I've noticed that even with my higher end SSDs, sometimes they just get hot and they slow down. This one hasn't slowed down on me once, so I think it won't. I mean, I've put this under a lot of stress. The second thing that makes this really special is that you can actually swap out these SSD cards. So this is a 4 terabyte super fast one by Samsung. It's incredibly fast. I don't even need the speed if I'm being honest. But yeah, transferring stuff from this one to my computer is extremely fast. But also editing straight off this thing is no problem. It doesn't matter if it's 6K files, 4K. You can edit straight off this thing. It never has to touch my hard drive on my computer, which makes this such a good buy. This is also a lot cheaper than buying a dedicated SSD. So these are really, really good solutions. I think these enclosures are the future. And I think we're going to be seeing less and less of these dedicated SSDs, if I'm being honest. And then there's 2 more things in here. Let's start with a more boring one, and then I'll show you my new favorite airplane one. So, or 3 things actually. So here are the AirPods Pro 2s. I mean, I don't even know if there's people that still don't know these, but these are the goats when it comes to in-ear buds, except, and that's really the only reason why you might not like these, is because they have these in-ear tips. You know, some people I know don't like these. They prefer the one size fits all ones. Then you'll end up with the AirPods 4, for instance. Those are also a good option, but these have the superior noise canceling. They're basically the AirPods Max in a in-ear version. They're fantastic. You can control them on the stems, volume, you know, skipping songs back and forth. Transparency mode is on there, so you can long press it and you can hear your surroundings in a way where you would think that you're not even wearing these. I mean, the transparency is amazing. It's crazy good. I really don't know how they do it. And then when you long press it again, you just drown out your entire surroundings. And when you're listening to music here in New York City, or making phone calls, even more importantly, you can hear every word the person on the other side is saying. And the best part is that the person on the other side will hear you clearly. And this traffic is no joke. There's, you know, honking, there's sirens all the time. But many times I've been on calls and people told me, I can hear you loud and clear and there's hardly any noise around you. That is so good in terms of, you know, blocking out noise, and that says a lot about the noise canceling. So yeah, these are absolutely solid, and I think that we're going to see in September maybe a successor to these. So if they come out with AirPods 3 Pro, I'm all over them. And then we have, you know, these little AirTags. You know, just mentioned these because they're so clutch. I brought 2 extras just because I wasn't sure if I needed them. I have basically AirTagged all of my stuff, like literally every pouch, every bag has an AirTag. But there's always something, or maybe you buy a new bag or whatever that needs an AirTag, or maybe you go somewhere, or maybe one runs out of battery. I just always keep some on me, so I never lose anything on a trip like this. And then lastly is my new favorite addition to this pouch, which is these, also by 12 South, the same company that makes that butterfly thing. I don't know what it's called, but oh, actually I do. It says it right here. It's the Airfly by 12 South. It's a very simple concept, but it works so well. So you stick these in your the outlet of the airplane, because normally when you're flying, you have to use the airplane's you know, proprietary ones that have a cable. You can't use something like the AirPods Pro because most, I mean, the newer ones might have, but the, you know, older airplanes, they don't have any Bluetooth options. But with this thing, you create your own little Bluetooth option. So you basically just stick this into the headphone jack of the airplane, connect them once to your AirPods, and then after that, they'll connect automatically every time. And it will send a signal from this thing to the AirPods Pros, and it's lagless. I mean, maybe there is a little latency on paper, but I honestly don't see it. I can watch a movie and I don't see any difference between the sounds I'm hearing and the lips moving. So this is really, really good. It's a little expensive. I paid, I think, almost 80 euros, which is about maybe 90 bucks or something like that. But yeah, it's super worth it if you ask me. And also it comes with this, which some airplanes, if you just use one plug, it doesn't sound right. You get like a mono in one ear and then you're missing a whole bunch of audio. So you can just clip these on the end of these, stick those in there, and you'll have your perfect stereo sound. Absolutely clutch. Just if you do decide to pick these up, make sure it's the premium or the pro ones. I don't know what they're called, because those are the ones that have this extension. If you don't do that, you'll end up with just this, and you might still have to buy this afterwards. So just keep an eye out for that. And I think that brings us to the end of this little EDC favorite travel tech, whatever we were gonna call this video. I haven't decided yet. It's a lot of stuff, I know, but I'm using all of it, and I genuinely use most of it on a daily basis when I'm traveling here. You know, not the airplane stuff, obviously, but if I leave the house and I don't have it with me and I'm sitting in the airplane, I'm like, I wish I had these things with me. So these are all very useful and you know, definitely worth purchasing. Like I said earlier, I will put everything in links in the description below. So if you're looking for something, you can find it there. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next one.